to help us begin to understand where we are today, I will be calling on some of the frontline leaders. As a matter of fact, I believe all of them are here to give us a very brief remark, a position statement, I must add, on what their particular position is. Because if you don't take an assessment of where you are, you don't know where you're going. So we have today present stakeholders in this conflict. And in no particular order, I will call and give our frontline leaders no more than 2 minutes to give us an overview of their position.
Thank you very much. Thank you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of international organizations here present. I'd like to extend regards and greetings to you all. It is true that I was wondering if I'll be able to take speech at a specific moment, because after my brothers have spoken, and I recall some of the images that were sent to me just this morning before I came to this hall, I was greatly saddened. But one big thing comes to my mind, and that question that keeps beating my mind that I'd like to ask here is, how did we get there? How did we ever get here? How did we find ourselves in a situation where we are being slaughtered like pigs on a daily basis? And when you move around international corridors, all you hear is that our fate will only be discussed around the interests of Paris. What a shame that people are being slaughtered on a daily basis. And all we hear is that Paris will never hear of anything that will set the people of southern Cameroons free. They will only go away with something that ties us to these murderous people who continue to slaughter us with impunity and even tell the world that the world is violating their sovereign right to slaughter us. That the world is violating their sovereign right to send their soldiers to rape our grandmothers as old as 85 and rape our daughters as old as 6 only. That the whole wide world is violating their sovereignty. Their sovereign right to send soldiers to disguise as if they were Southern Cameroon's restoration forces, to kidnap our people, to loot from them, to transform them into punching bags. Yet, we're only hearing speeches and resolutions in big parlors around the world. When I was in high school and Iraq invaded Kuwait, it was not speeches, it was action. Why is the situation of Southern Cameroon different? Are we subhumans, like the people of La République du Cameroon want us to believe? Is the world validating the fact that we are not human enough to deserve the most inalienable right, which is that to life? It's quite shocking and embarrassing to realize that the world hasn't understood that all the calls from 2017 to date on La République du Cameroon to carry out dialogue have become music that's out of tune. Because despite all these calls, the killings are ongoing. Despite all these calls, villages are being burned on a daily basis. Even American citizens are paying the price. Church leaders mean nothing to the guns of the trigger-happy soldiers of La République du Cameroon. They are going down every day. Yesterday again, in Batibo, a pastor was pulled from his house and slaughtered in cold blood before his parishioners. That is the kind of life, that is the kind of future that the United Nations handed over to us in 1961. That is the kind of future that these same international bodies want us to bequeath to generations upon generations of Southern Cameroonians yet to be born. We will no longer let our children be born into slavery. I know that those who in here still believe in coexistence in federalism. I know that those who in here still believe that decentralization can solve our problems. They still believe in unionism. Don't get intimidated by the overwhelming feeling that we have to go our separate way. But one thing I want you to take home as message is that these people, La République du Cameroon, have never kept any promise. From the day that country got independence and got into this, how should I call it? And raped us and held us captive for all this while they've never respected one promise. And there is nothing that they will ever respect. Because throughout this journey, even when we have fought so hard and acquired something, they gave with the left hand and collected with the right. Even as we fight now, everything that they gave in 2016 to deceive the teachers and lawyers to go back to work is being collected right back, even as we fight. But because Honorable Weber stood in the parliament, which parliament has even refused to hear a mention of what is happening in southern Cameroons, I'm sure the citizens of the United States of America will slaughter all their senators, all their representatives, if something is happening in the state of Indiana and people are dying and they say it cannot be mentioned in Congress. That wouldn't happen here. It should not be allowed to happen anywhere else in the world. We are humans. The Bill of Rights makes clear that we all deserve to live. Because Honorable Weber challenged them in that parliament and said, you cannot treat us as a conquered people because we were not conquered at war. That is why Mr. Paul Biya and his troops are vowing they don't want to hear your calls for dialogue. Even mention negotiations, they will not want to hear. What is in their minds is they must defeat us at war and impose on us the victor's peace. So that we, as a people, will never ever say again that we came voluntarily into a useless union with you people. But the news I have for them is that right now, and this news too is good enough for the entire world, the young people of southern Cameroon have attained a level where putting these people again together will only mean you want death upon death, because even the taste of vengeance will continue to live. When I heard them singing this song when I was coming down here, they said, Mama, don't you worry. Papa, I am going far away. If I happen to fall on the battlefield, never mind, we will meet again. It tells you right down to the last southern Cameroonian who will die for Paris to have its economic interest protected. Thank you.